And I think I suggested this roundtable discussion just because having taught all this last year uh, online, I know that microphones and internet connections don't always stay constant. So um, playing, playing guitar or even teaching and hearing people play over Zoom is a little hit and miss, you know. So I feel this way we can really have a nice chat. Uh, you can ask questions. I hope I have answers for everybody. Um, so now Veda was very kind to send me a list already of some people who had asked questions, and I have those in front of me. Uh, and let's see, I have the names as well, and I don't know if everybody who submitted a question is online right now. But uh, first of all, let me just, does anybody have any issue they want to bring up right now about practicing or any technique or being online or just, even mental health during these days of lockdown, which has been a big issue, a big topic of conversation here, I can tell you. So, uh, anybody have anything they want to ask first? And then if not, I'll just go to the list and kind of start the conversation from there.
Yes, sir. May I?
Yes.
Yes. Sir, during the not during the lockdown, whenever I practice some flamenco techniques also. So when practicing, I hit more than necessarily strongly with my right finger and all the fingers. But when I strike rasguados, I develop some pain on my first finger. Is it okay, sir, or I think I should change my way of practicing?
Um, you say from doing the Rusquiatos, you think it's Rusquiatos.
Yes, flamenco technique.
Where on your finger?
Right. No, yes, sir.
Where is it?
Right, right.
Right in the middle?
Yeah, middle the joint.
The middle joint.
Yeah.
Oh, generally, if you get if you get a little pain in the joint, especially this middle joint here, it's. Do you have
Yeah.
arthritis or anything like that?
No, I'm not.
And it's only this finger. I've not heard that before, actually.
Okay.
Um, I, first of all, I'll say that when you get the pain like that anywhere,
Uh-huh.
you should stop. You should stop what you're doing
Okay.
and examine it a little bit. Move it around to see, where it might hurt the most, maybe.
Mm-hmm.
And see if it goes away. Does it go away after a particular amount of time?
After 2 3 days. After 2 3 days.
Two, 2 3 days. Ooh.
Uh-huh.
Um, well, it's possible. Okay, I'm thinking you might have trigger finger.
What is
Uh,
that, sir?
trigger trigger finger is it's a condition where it's usually these one of these two fingers here
Mm-hmm.
where they lock. And so let's say I have trigger finger here, right? Okay. So this finger might lock in this position, and I have to try hard to get it out.
Okay.
Um, that can hurt a little bit if you have to do it a lot. Here, if you have some kind of a trigger finger where it gets locked, but you're going out for the
Mm-hmm.
Rasquiatos,
Right.
over and over and over again, that could get sore. And you can have trigger finger generally here or here.
Exactly
So
at this place. Exactly at that place. Right, sir, you're right.
yeah, you could have one of those joints. You could have this trigger finger. So I'm not saying I would have to see you play the rasgueados. Let me ask you: does it only happen when you're playing the rasgueados, or anything else?
Only playing Rasguedo, not another time.
Hmm. Um, well, I would examine. I would have to see close up how you're moving.
Okay.
You could be straining one of your tendons. It's possible, and that would cause a little pain here. So, um, anyway, that's what I'm thinking. That's what I'm thinking. So,
Give me, sir.
oh, there you are. Okay, oh, you have your guitar.
Yes, sir.
That looks great. I have to say, it looks really good. I don't have any idea right now what's causing that. Can I see your hand? Okay, let's see if I can enlarge your window here. No, the finger looks okay. You know, it might be. I don't see any inflammation. It might be just overuse, and I'm thinking that it's possible you just would have to rest it. You know,
Uh-huh.
and I would suggest maybe some ice as well to
Okay.
ice the joint a little bit after that happens. Um, no, it looks normal. So I don't know. Honestly, that's the first time I've heard that. Yeah. So I'm sorry to hear you're having the trouble.
Yes.
That's no fun. Flamenco should be fun.
Yes, very, very good.
But I don't know. Let me see. So
Right.
make sure when you extend the finger, try to keep it loose. Don't keep it tight.
Oh.
Now it looked like you were being quite loose. But if it's possible you're maintaining some tension here, and that we can't do. We have to keep it loose. Um, honestly, I would have to see it in person, really, to see what's going on.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, just do what you can.
Okay.
You know, it doesn't sound like it's a typical tendonitis problem, but it could be that you strained the tendon here somehow. So
Oh.
yeah.
Thank you,
Hi,
sir.
sir.
Well,
Could I ask
yeah.
a question?
Anyway, maybe maybe we'll come up with an answer as we go.
Right, sir.
But anyway, let's move on. And okay, I think what I'll do is let me go back to my other view.
Hi, sir.
Okay. Yes.
Hi,
Hello.
could I ask a question?
Uh, Zephaniah.
Zephaniah, yes, that's me.
Zephaniah. Hi. Yes. How I see you. How
Hello.
are you?
I'm fine, thank you. How are you doing, sir?
Good.
All right. So my question is, the past 9 months was a bit difficult, as you mentioned. There were issues with some mental health that are happening all over the world to everybody. And as a musician, I struggled with keeping myself motivated and having a reason to do what I love doing the most, that is play music. And I hadn't been practicing for a long, long time. And even if I tried, I never had the desire or motivation to do that. So, uh, did you feel the same, or what is your source of motivation, and what keeps you going even in hard times to practice and play?
That's a very, very appropriate and excellent question. And it's an issue I think everybody's experiencing right now. Um, Much to my surprise, I haven't I haven't played as much guitar as I thought I would. Um, and I realized that when you're a professional musician, you're so used to learning music and playing music that you have to play.
Mm-hmm.
Let's say you have your program and you have to take it on tour and play it every night. That's the reason. And then when you come home, you take a little rest, and then you do the same thing. You learn a new program, and then this goes on and on and on. And I found at first, um, when it started here, we started locking down in March, and we thought maybe in the summer we'll be playing again. So we kept practicing, and although the quartet, the LA quartet with my colleagues, we couldn't really meet in person. So we thought we'll wait until early summer, and then we'll go off to Europe and do our concerts.
Mm-hmm.
Um, well, that didn't happen. The concert started getting canceled,
Mm-hmm.
and at first it was a little bit of depression, I think, because
Mm-hmm.
uh, what you were looking forward to suddenly is not happening.
Mm-hmm.
So for me, that was one of the things that set in, was a little bit of depression, uh, and disappointment. I guess disappointment was probably a better word.
Mm-hmm.
And I found something out about myself, and a lot of my friends are finding the same thing out, that without a purpose, we don't prepare.
Mm-hmm.
Now, one thing that kept me going during this whole thing is one of my mentors since I was young, very young, 13 or 14, is Pepe Romero.
Wow.
And he was stuck in Spain. He had arrived for concerts, and then they said, you can't go back. There are no flights.
Oh gosh.
So luckily, he has a home in Granada as
Mm-hmm.
well as California. So he and his wife were in this house in Granada for from February until September,
Mm-hmm.
very long time.
Mm-hmm.
And uh, we would Zoom with Pepe. He gave his master class for us, as he usually does every semester. And we would Zoom privately a lot, and we would get friends of ours on the Zoom call and keep everybody's spirits lifted. And Pepe always told us when we were his students, I guess I'm still his student because I'm always learning something from him. But he would say, you have to be your own best audience, because in the end, after the concert is over, it doesn't matter so much what everybody thought. In fact, you shouldn't be playing for people to try to get them to think well of you. You have to play sincerely and, of course, from your heart, and you have to play freely and And so we have to be our own best audience. We have to enjoy just the sheer act of making music, producing sound, getting working on that really good tone, and I found that in this lockdown, for lack of a better word, I have enjoyed more and more playing pieces that are very slow and very resonant, very with a lot of sustain. And I find I get a great deal of enjoyment from that. Just because I'm my own audience and I can really listen. And it's actually that dealing with that and thinking about that every day has actually improved me. I really believe. And I've gotten to work on that. So we all have to be our own best audience, not in an egotistical way, but just because we love music. And there's always something that you can improve. David Russell, who I know he's been to, I think, your festival, I believe, in the past. And he always has these little gems of wisdom. And one of the gems of wisdom, when he was teaching at our school, when I was just finishing my studies, he would say, whenever you pick up the guitar, okay, whenever you pick the guitar up, you have a choice. You can get better or you can go backwards. And it starts from the moment you tune your guitar. Am I plucking well? Am I getting a good tone? Even while I'm tuning. Is my finger moving okay? From the moment you start plucking the strings, when you think about those little things, you're getting better. You're actually improving because you're keeping your mind on the little minutia, the minutia that matters when you play, the touch. And so this is something we have to think about every day. When I do this, am I pressing too hard here? Little things like that. Am I making the best harmonic that I can make? So, anyway, his point was that we're always in a state of metamorphosis, one way or another. And so we can use this time to really get into that. It's easy when we're busy to forget about those things. So now is a good time to focus on that. And Zephaniah, I would also say, it's okay to be depressed, and it's okay to not feel good about this situation. It's fine. It's okay. Don't feel extra bad about feeling bad, because this is a very, very unfortunate situation, that we have to go through. And so, sure, we go through our moments of I don't want to play the guitar. That's okay. But when you feel like you want to play, try to play a little bit every day. And maybe you won't last 5 minutes, and maybe you'll play for 5 hours. But just play. Don't feel like you have to practice. Just play. Read through music. Use this time to really just play your guitar. We have to connect. This is a perfect example of a time where we have to connect to what first made us fall in love with the guitar, with this instrument. And so this is a good time to connect with that. You have to connect a little bit every day. Some days it's not going to feel great. That's okay. Some days it's going to feel fantastic, and then that's even better. But we have to hold on to those moments when it feels fantastic, because we have to draw from that. That's our savings account, okay? And we have to draw from that. Those times it feels really good, because the times that it's not feeling good, we're all actors, and there are times when I don't feel good, and I have to play a concert, and I have to lift people up. I don't have to lift people up, but that's kind of why I'm playing music, because it lifts me up. So when I play music, I want to, I feel like if I'm not lifted up, others won't be lifted up. So I have to cultivate that, and I have to think about yesterday when it felt good, so I can start feeling good. If you, there's a good saying, this Vietnamese Buddhist monk Thich Nhat Hanh, and a great quote of his I think about almost every day. The quote is, sometimes your joy can be the source of your smile, but other times your smile has to be the source of your joy. Meaning that sometimes we just have to fake it and smile, and then we start feeling better. And it's the same with music. We have to just start playing, and then what happens, happens. So now is a good time to keep up the love. Don't let the love disappear.
Thank you so much, Mr. Scott. Thank you so much. I really appreciate it.
You're welcome. That's a big thing right now. In fact, that was one of the questions here. Somewhere somebody asked about the same thing, about what we're doing right now. And that's what we're all doing. Anybody else?
I would like to ask a question, if possible, right now.
Yes, hello.
Hi, Scott. Uh,
Theophilus.
Yes, I'm Theophilus, and I've been playing guitar for quite a while now, but now my nails are not as strong as I would like them to be, and so I'm thinking of transitioning to fake nails, and stick them on with that double-sided adhesive, which is now in the market. And so, do you have experience with fake nails? And do you recommend using that?
I know a lot of people. I know David Russell now is using all the time
Okay.
a false nail on his A finger.
Okay.
As we get older, our nails change. He's found it beneficial to use a fake nail. He keeps them already shaped. Of course, being David, everything is planned out so particularly well. He keeps these pre-shaped nails with him, and then he just is able to, I think he uses the glue dot.
Mm-hmm.
These little glue dots to put them on, and then the tape. For concerts, I believe he actually uses glue.
Okay.
But now, having said that, I'm the worst person to ask about that, because I have fairly good luck with the breaking of nails. I've broken this thumbnail many times and before very important events. Unfortunately, I used to carry a ping pong ball with me, and then with scissors, I would cut out a big piece and I would glue it and I would shape it, and that was my solution. Things have gotten much better now, and as you're saying, you can even put them on with tape or the glue dots or whatever. Um, but I don't do it that much. And frankly, if something breaks, I just tend to play with the other fingers. I don't put a nail on. Um, I've done that only a couple times in my life, but I just don't like the feeling of one fake nail. I think if they were all fake, it would be different. So are you
Yeah,
saying that they're all?
I'm planning to uh, experiment with my pinky first. If I like it, then I will, then I will maybe change the other fingers. But then I'll make it uniform, not have one, but have all fake.
Yes, that's a good practice, I think, to start with this guy right here. um, I do know people who have them professionally done.
Yeah.
Um, they go. You have to find the right person who's willing to, when they see a man come in and to say, just do my right hand and do them a certain way. They look at you like you're a little crazy. But you have to find the right person to put these acrylic nails on, and they put them on very thin. And frankly, they're amazing. They sound great. They work really, really well. Uh, they don't break. Um, they do wear your natural nail out uh, in the end. Like anything you attach to your nail, it suffocates your nail, first of all. But if your nails are bad already, I think that might be a good way to go.
Well,
You
they're
know.
not bad, but you know, with the fake nail, I mean, it will stay uniform in shape.
Hmm.
So, but yeah, so my nails are slightly on the, they're not bad, I would say, but they are not as strong, maybe as yours or maybe other colleagues of mine, who
Mm.
I've seen some of them. They've got really good, thick, good nails, and they get
Hmm.
great tone out of it.
Right. Well, it's worth trying. It's
Yeah.
worth giving it a try. And I've often told myself that I was going to try that more often, but I just tend to keep my nails. I've been very lucky. So this one did get very thin when I was playing a lot of flamenco when I was a teenager. And I did everything that everybody else was doing at the time. I was putting crazy glue on my fingernail, and so I could really play, hard. But it eventually wore my nail very, very, very thin, and so now it's like a little paper thin. So I have to watch out, you know. But I've had pretty good luck. So
I see a little shine on your nail. Is that something on top of your,
that is,
you put some?
I actually iron my nail uh, with heat, like you iron a shirt. Uh, Now, before you go and try that, I must say, just be extremely careful, please. Um, because this, I told you, is very thin. So if I don't iron it, the middle of this nail curves down like a beak, like a bird beak, like a hook. And this one is straight. See, now it's curved, but normally it's straight because it's also become quite thin. So what I have to do, I found, is I have to make sure my fingernails are wet, like wash. You know, my house becomes very clean because I wash the dishes and wash everything, and I take a shower and everything. I get them very wet, so they're soft, and then once they're dry, then they curve very easily. So what I do now is it's quite simple. Is I take this is just water, but I'll take a cup with hot water, boiling hot water, and I'll take my nail. Let's see if I can do this here. And I'll push it onto the hot surface, and it starts bending. I'll do this, I'll do this, right? So the nail starts to bend in this way. So the reason I put this polish on is to freeze it in shape. It adds a little protection as well, but generally it's to freeze it so that it stays curved. And otherwise it'll go back to the hook, which the hook is a very uncomfortable thing for me. So that's really why I have it. And then I did this yesterday, in fact. So now they're perfect for me, and they'll stay like this for 2 weeks. Then I have to do it again. So anybody who has soft nails that are pliable, you can do the same thing. I would suggest just, again, when the water's very hot, you use the cup and you push and bend. You're just shaping. So, but on the road, I actually have used actual iron, which I wouldn't suggest. I've used actual like light bulbs, which is very strange to do. In a hotel room, you get the light bulb really hot, and then you have to, get in and shape it. I realized that, getting boiling water in a cup is much easier and safer. So
in a metal cup, preferably, right?
actually, no. I'd use definitely not a cup like this. I would use a ceramic porcelain cup. So a cup that gets very hot. Yeah. It works for me
Thank you.
every time.
Thank
Yeah.
you.
Scott, while we're on the subject of nails, I've got the opposite problem. I'm afraid I can't put on my camera because it makes me upside down. But
Oh,
yeah, I'm really sorry, but let's try. And if you see someone upside down, that's me.
okay.
So two things. One is I've got incredibly hard nails. They're, the expression as hard as nails. Well, that's me.
Oh, okay.
So is there anything you can think of? Because, it makes it sound very scratchy and tinny. If I don't, I literally have to file every day. So can you think of anything which I might be able to do?
Because are they brittle? Are they dry and brittle?
No, they're not necessarily brittle. They're just rock hard. I mean, they're really, really solid.
Mm-hmm.
And when I'm
Mm-hmm.
talking about filing, I'm talking about maybe 10, 15 minutes every day, just to get them down to position where they're smooth enough to play with.
I see. And are they, do they grow fast?
Yeah, very fast.
Wow, because if you file 15 minutes every day, that's quite some growth in
Yeah,
24 hours.
it takes it's really very annoying. In fact, I asked on a few classical guitar groups on Facebook, and the basic response was, "You're a lucky sod, and stop crying about your problems," because I wish I had nails like yours. But well, it sounds like a good thing. It's really quite difficult. You waste a lot of time.
Well, if you have the thick nails, um, again, you kind of are lucky, and I think, um, actually, I see something here in the chat. Somebody's put olive oil works. Um, you might want to try a little oil every day, just soaking it in. Olive oil, the cheaper the oil, the darker the oil, the better. You don't want to use like the super refined. So olive oil works very well. Jojoba oil works very well. That's Jojoba, jojoba oil. Vitamin E oil works very well. Coconut oil works very well. All of these natural oils, and you just let it soak into the nail for, I don't know, 20 minutes or so, and then you wipe it clean. It's very, very good for the nail, for everybody actually, but if you're trying to perhaps soften your nail a little bit, that might help. As far as thinning your nail out, you know, you could do what I did as a teenager and use super glue on your nails, and eventually it'll thin your nail out, but it thins it out because it's unhealthy. So you don't want a sick fingernail. You want a healthy fingernail. Uh, so again, I would have to see your nail to see what you're talking about. But um, if you have to file every day, you have to file every day.
Yeah,
You
I
know,
guess
that's
just gonna live with it. Thank you so much, Scott. And I did
yeah,
want
good.
to thank you very much indeed for your book. It absolutely transformed my guitar playing back in the late 90s when I lived in San Francisco and I bought it.
Oh,
Um,
you lived in San
ab-
Francisco.
yeah,
Fantastic.
and it absolutely transformational. Thank you very much.
Oh, good to hear. I'm glad that helped. Glad that helped. Yeah, the fingernail issue is quite something, isn't it? You know, we're the only well, I guess certain styles of harp playing require the nails as well, but we're the only uh, you know group of instrumentalists who have to worry about such things. But it is actually the one thing I find most pleasing about the guitar is because it's so personal. Your touch is everything, and it changes every day. In fact, I could in the morning, let's say in the morning, I could do this and shape them, and then come evening, if it's extremely humid, let's say, they could change. And so by the evening, I could have a hook again. So they change all the time. And so that forces us to be very, very sensitive to finger placement, to the touch. So that's part of what I love about the instrument, actually, is because it's so personal and uh, that you can't just set it and leave it. You have to be really on your toes and paying attention. I like that. I like that. Okay, so while you all are thinking, let me just go over. Somebody asked, Deepak Panmudi. I don't know if Deepak is here
Yes, sir, I'm here.
somewhere. Oh, let me
Yeah.
find the window.
Hi.
Hi, Deepak. Let me. Where are you?
Hi.
Oh, there you are. Hey, hi. Okay,
Hi.
you have a question, and it said your question was, how important is ensemble playing for classical guitarists? And tell us about your
Yes.
experience in LAGQ. That's a good question. First of all, how many people here play in an ensemble regularly? In a duet or any kind of ensemble with the singer, flute, anything? Okay. Okay, well, quite a few. Um, I'll start off by saying that um, it's pretty important because it's so easy for us to become we're talking about the lockdown and becoming so self-absorbed and isolated. The real true music making is playing off of others, not always playing with others. So uh, if you and I are playing a duet, uh, I'm not just trying to play with you. I'm trying to play off of you. If you do a little something, and I have to match it, you know, and vice versa. So it's like driving two cars. You have to kind of make sure that you're staying in your lane. And by staying in your lane, you're actually being together. So, uh, guitarists, we generally don't get much of an opportunity to do that. Uh, Now, guitarists also, because of out of the necessity with guitar societies, and back in the day when when I was a boy, a guitar society was a place you met every month and you met locally and you met, all the mothers would bring, this food to eat, and everybody would play and it was a fun thing. And then you would read through duets and, have some ensemble time. now guitar societies, if they exist, are uh, uh, by necessity they're a little bit bigger now, I guess, because they have to cover more area, but they become more business organizations, again out of necessity, because we want to keep guitar concerts going. But back to ensemble. Um, so playing together, playing with other musicians, playing with other singers, playing with a dancer, playing with anybody other than yourself is crucial to develop as a musician. Absolutely crucial. You can play along with recordings. Okay, that's helpful in the beginning, but you really have to play with somebody else. And those of you who are teachers are already getting that experience by playing along with your students. Sometimes you have to play something and then the student plays something along with it. That's extremely helpful for them as your student. But as a teacher also, you're getting some practice in trying to pull someone along who's not at your level. So that's another important part of ensemble playing. We started in our quartet. We started as students ourselves, as freshmen in college at USC, University of Southern California. So the year I arrived in 1980, Pepe Romero had already decided that we were going to be a quartet because he wanted a quartet to coach in his ensemble master classes. So he put 4 of us together. And then when I arrived in California to go to school, we immediately started rehearsing. The first week we were rehearsing. And it just, it's we kind of joke. We say that it's still we're still trying to complete our assignment, our homework assignment. So we started in that way, and just kept playing together. First of all, back to I was going to make this point. It's fun, right? Playing an ensemble is fun, and that's really why we do it. And it's very satisfying, and it's satisfying because, as I said, it's the true way to make music. You feel like you've actually made some music when you play ensemble with somebody. Whether they're good or bad, it doesn't matter. So yeah, we just kept playing together. We became sort of professional right away. We were the USC Guitar Quartet for several years, and it didn't take much thought to figure out that we'd call ourselves the Los Angeles Guitar Quartet. That's not very creative, but that's what we came up with. And we've been that ever since. And this is our 40th year now as a group. We've only had 2 members change in that time. And we're still, the older I get and the more I play with the quartet, I realize that playing the concert is fun. Traveling is not so much fun. And I mean not, I love being in a place where I can meet people and be with my friends, but just getting there, arguing with the airplane if I can take my guitar, taking the taxi and taking another 12-hour bus ride and this. So that's the work. When I finally get on stage, especially with the quartet, because they all feel like brothers to me, it's kind of like now we can relax. There's nobody going to bother us now. And we can do what we want. And we can play. And it all just kind of settles in that. It's kind of a magical time. Everything's in suspended animation. So the concert, especially with the quartet, it's really special. It still is after 40 years of doing it. Um, Playing solo is wonderful as well. But actually, sometimes when I'm playing solo, I know Bill Cannongeiser is the same way. We kind of imagine the other people being on stage. So when you start a piece and you're by yourself, you might just kind of go, like you're cueing everybody in. Just to imagine you're kind of putting yourself on stage with the other people in your mind. So, but yes, playing ensemble is crucial. And it's fun. That's the main thing. It's very satisfying. As
And for
long
the
as you like the other people.
yes. And just a follow up for this, like, have you tried playing ensemble like in a virtual platform, like during this hard time? Like, you can't go and meet a person, but that's like there's limitations there.
That is not, yes, there are many limitations. And having now, coached my ensembles at school, it's not ensemble playing. It's not. If I have your part in my ear and I'm trying to play along with it to a click track, and then we send that off to somebody else who plays their third part, etc. It's really, ensemble playing doesn't just mean together, as in playing together. It means being together and having the human interaction, which is something we're interacting now on Zoom, but it's not the same. We can't interact the same way. And so, maybe you've experienced this also, Deepak. You're talking about this. Do you find it frustrating?
It's kind of like I don't have that kind of energy or a feel when I play with the person right next to me. I know the amount of like dynamics goes into that pieces and everything. But when I have a click track or play along with someone who has sent me a track, I don't feel that it feels more mechanical than what I do in the live sessions. Like I play a ensemble, a duet with the violin of Piazzolla's Riverado and all those things, but I couldn't emote it actually. It feels very difficult to get that aspect. But if I have a person right next to me playing that, I can absolutely do that. It's like, it's not I can't do that. It's with the technology or the virtual thing that's like suppressing it. The something like I couldn't.
Yeah. No, I agree with that. And it comes down to also there has to be some editing somewhere along the line, uh, some mixing, especially if you have a large group like a guitar orchestra. Um, it's very challenging, and that's the one thing especially I look forward to getting back in person and doing at school, especially when we can do that. Hopefully by the summer. Um, Now we're still committed to being online at our school for this next semester, but I really, really want to get back in person with the ensembles because I miss that, and the students miss that too. Yes.
Thank you so much, sir. That's really helpful actually.
Sure. We're talking about, being isolated and depression at the beginning of this session uh, this morning, but that has a lot to do with it. If you're used to playing with other people, and you're playing on your own all the time. Uh, yes, as I said, we have to cultivate enjoyment in that, but you do miss the interaction, the musical interaction with other people. You do miss that. So we've been working all year trying to find some sort of a media platform where you can play without lag, without internet lag. And somebody will get very excited and they'll say, "Oh, you have to try this, and then you have to have all this equipment in this box, and then another box, and then a microphone connected to this box, and then over there you have to." And it's just, okay, I'm not an electrician, I want to just play music with people. And, and then you have to, you feel like a mechanical rabbit, after you have all this stuff hooked up to you. It's just not the same. So there is nothing yet that minimizes lag that much.
It's like we thought like maybe like playing guitar is enough. It's not anymore enough. Like you have to learn some technology and a lot of electrical things.
Yes. Now I will say, how many teachers do we have here? I think quite a few, yes? Yeah, quite a few teachers. I've noticed that teaching private lessons online, my students have actually improved a lot. And I realized the reason. The reason is because they're playing in front of a camera and a microphone, but they're also listening to themselves in a more, not critical, but observational way. A lot of times for a lesson, somebody will send me a video. They won't play over Zoom. They'll send me a video and then we'll review the video. They have to listen back to themselves all the time. This is something that in person, you have the lesson, then you go home, and then you have the lesson again the next week, and then you go home. This way, the students are always listening to themselves with a lot of scrutiny, and I think that's the reason I'm seeing a lot of improvement with my students, because they're having to see themselves and hear themselves. It's good medicine. I hate hearing myself. I really hate it. But it's the best medicine. It really is the best medicine. So we all have to do it. Okay, let's see. Beginner songs by year. Let's see. Let's get some questions. Adarsh Bareilly. I don't know if you're out there, but their question is this. Focus breaks while playing music, so keeping focused while practicing, basically. And that's something I wanted to address. Now, I noticed on your festival website, you have some people talking about how to practice. And so I'm sure you've gotten enough advice about that. But I will say that for me, practicing less but more focused is much more beneficial than having to practice. Back when I was a child, all the maestros, they would say, if you're not practicing 6 hours a day, you're no good, And the thing is, nobody ever told me how to practice. I would practice 6 hours a day, but nobody told me what to do, right? I would just play my guitar for 6 hours and then think I should be getting better. One thing you might consider, and this is something I heard Manuel Barrueco say in a master class, and so I went home and tried it myself. He suggested you get a timer, just a little, kitchen timer. You put on the very cheap, like $1, you get a timer, and you set it for 1 hour. No telephone, no television, no internet, no newspaper, nothing. Just you and your timer and your music. And you have to organize the hour so that you're getting something concretely done by the end of that hour. That takes a little bit of experimentation, but one thing I do, for instance, I'll do a 1 hour session, and then I'll take a long break. I might go and teach all day, and then I'll do another hour. First of all, 1 hour is about the length of time I find when I start needing a break. I need to get up and move around. I need to clear my head. Because if we practice with with a cloudy head, we're not getting anything done. So the 1 hour is perfect. Also, having the timer, I can focus a lot better because I don't have to worry about being on time for anything. The timer will tell me when I'm done. So it's my time, completely 100% my time, this hour. So I have to make sure it's organized. So what I do is I practice, I prioritize, and I take the things I need to practice. And one thing I do, let's see if I can kind of show you here. Let's see. I don't know where I actually put my paper. Where did I put it? Well, I put it away. I hid it away from myself. Anyway, it'll be clear. Basically, what I do is I'll take a piece of music. No, so we don't have to practice. So if I want to practice this, I don't have to play because that's easy. And many of us do this, and I was realizing that if I practice this piece, I'll start here. Then I'll get to this. And I'll keep backing up, and I'll play the easy thing all the time. So what I'll do is I'll take the music and a copy of the music, and I'll cut this section out. I'll cut this out. And I'll take this and I'll paste these on a blank sheet of paper. So I have these sections on paper. It could be a short section, it could be a long section. And then I take these sheets of paper. You can do the same thing on your iPad. I have an iPad now, but now I have these papers, 1, 2, 3, let's say, all with hard bits, not the easy bits. And I make a copy, and I keep them in my guitar case all the time. I might even keep an extra copy in my car if I have to go somewhere and I have extra time I can study. But it's only these difficult bits that I practice. I never practice the easy stuff. So this way I'm not tempted. I have it exactly in front of me, and I know what I need to do. And so today in my hour, I'm going to do number 1, 2, 3. That's it. Okay? I start my timer. And then I first of all, we have to start with knowing what the problem is. So we have to find what's causing us problems. We have to kind of be our own teacher, our own sort of a doctor, right? We have to kind of prescribe, find out what the symptoms are and solve it. So once I do that, I might realize, well, this section of music here, there's just one measure. That's it. One measure that's causing me problems. So I ignore the other stuff and I do the one measure. And so I'm always going deeper into what is causing my issue. And I work on that issue. It might be something simple as changing the fingering. I know for sure many of you do this. I've done this. We have fingering by the editor, by Segovia, by whoever, and we stick to it, no matter what. Well, maybe we don't have the fingers that that person had. Maybe we can't do something. Maybe all we have to do is give it a better fingering. That's it. Or it could be just a shift that's causing all the problem. So in this 1 hour now, my timer is ticking. We figure these things out. So I may not get to 1, 2, 3 today. I might just get to 1.5. Then my timer goes off. And then I take a break. I don't keep practicing. I take my break. And then when I come back again the next time, I will start with that issue again to kind of solidify the solution. Then I'll move on. So I keep doing this. I keep figuring out what's causing the problem. If you do 1 week of this, you'll be amazed how much you get done. Now, here's the other most important thing. Always save time at the end of the day to play your guitar. Don't practice. Play your guitar. Have fun. Enjoy. Play folk songs. Read through music. Play your repertoire. Don't practice. Save the practice ideas for the next day. So you're playing your guitar as a reward for all of your practice. First you practice, and you get these little things done. And later you play. Play your guitar as long as you want. No timer. When I started doing this, I found that I was getting a lot done in very short amount of time. And once you solve a problem like this, it stays solved. Because you've really, really focused on that. You're not guessing by playing something and playing it over and over and over again. It's like the way I iron a shirt, and I'm terrible at ironing. I'll go over the same wrinkle over and over, and it gets worse. And I'm thinking, oh my gosh, so then it's in there. Then the wrinkle's there. You have to iron the wrinkle out, so I'm told. And then it's gone. So that's how we practice. That's as much as I'll say right there. But you have to first, and this is where you can get with your teacher and they can help you find these areas that are giving you problems. And try this cut and paste idea. It really honestly helps me a lot. Because knowing me, if I don't cut and paste, I'll keep playing. I'll play everything that I don't need to play. So that's my big practice suggestion. But don't make it all about practice. You have to play your guitar later. Play, have fun. Practice a little, play a lot. Okay. Anybody, let me go back to my sheet. If anybody wants to comment or have anything, let me just go right ahead. Somebody says here, Akash Saha. Akash, I don't know if you're here. Oh wait, Akash, is this the Akash that's on his iPad?
Yeah, I'm here.
Oh, was it you that said, will practicing the 120 studies give you focal dystonia?
Yes.
That was you.
Yeah.
The answer is no.
That was simple enough.
The answer is no. It all depends on how you're playing them, not that you're playing them. And first of all, you can play all 120, but you're not going to get anything done. It'll take so long to practice 120 studies. You'll be 48 hours straight, because to really improve, you have to focus. Again, my idea of taking only what's necessary. So it's a good idea, though, with those. What makes those studies so great? I mean, they're C major, G7. It just gets a little bit tedious. But he really does have all of these combinations there. And that's the great thing about it. So take a couple, play through them all, and figure out which ones can't I play. Don't play the ones you can play. The ones you can't play, figure out why you can't play them, and practice those. I will say, since you brought up the idea of Giuliani's, Pepe would have us go through these And and this I'll just mention this. Okay, so we have okay, and over and over again. Etc., etc. Okay, so despite whatever you're doing, everybody should imagine that you have laser pointers shooting out of your fingers. You have these laser pointers. And that laser pointer only ever points at the string. So let's see if I can. Now this is something we can't do. Let's see. So let's see. I don't know if you can see the strings here, but my fingertip is never. It's not going to go. Or see, I'm pointing away from the string all the time. And this is a common thing. And this is something you can practice in these arpeggios by only aiming at the string. Now, the way we teach beginners to do that is to plant the finger. This is a very good tool. It's something that you minimize later as you go. But just putting the finger down. Make sure it's pointed at the string only. It doesn't go past. So despite what you do, if it's the first, the second one, or one of the most difficult ones at the end, make sure that your fingers are pointing at the strings and not away. Right? And the same with tremolo. This is why it's good to practice tremolo staccato. Because we want to train the fingertip to only go for the string and not beyond the string. So that's really what you're looking at when you practice those etudes. The carcasses are very good too, like number 19. I have to be kind of quiet because I have neighbors upstairs since it is evening here. So now about focal dystonia, it is quite a serious issue, and I don't know if anybody here on this Zoom session has ever experienced focal dystonia. Have you, Akash?
I personally haven't, but I have colleagues who have had it.
Same here. I know very, very good players who have gotten it, who have gotten rid of it, have worked through it, self-therapy, etc. But it can be an issue. A lot of times it's not brought about by playing the guitar. It's brought about by external factors, and guitar acts to exacerbate the problem. If we bring tension from other activities into our guitar playing, the number one thing I've seen, the people who have really gotten it, the number one thing is that they maintain tension, this micro tension, all the time. It's this underlying, it's as if I were all day gritting my teeth. Very subtle. By the end of the day, it's going to be sore. If I keep doing that, I can do that with my fingers too. So you can't even see it. And that's why a lot of these players are very good players. and they look so relaxed, but there's something going on that they're holding some tension all the time, nonstop. And that's the common thread I've seen in the people I know who have it, who have gotten it. And then in order to get out of it, those who do, they have to undo the whole chain. And so it could be something where I'm holding tension here and this is fine. But eventually that's going to catch up to my fingers.
I've heard I've heard it's not just it's not a physiological issue, but it's sometimes it's a like I've heard people take therapy for this as well to kind of rewire things, right?
Yes,
So,
right. Exactly. Some people, the people who go through therapy, sometimes also because of the focal dystonia, nerves can get pinched along the way, and then you have to have therapy for that. So it can really escalate, but it has to do really with, in fact, somebody who's playing, letting their fingers swing along, sometimes they're very relaxed. And so, if I tell somebody, no, point at the string, they could start getting tense. So you have to, as a teacher, you have to really watch that and make sure that they're not overcompensating. Yeah.
Okay, thank you.
Sure. Anybody else have any, you want to chime in?
Well, I have
Nobody
a
just yet.
question. I have a
Okay.
question which is there on the Google form. Well, I can tell it out. It's about
Oh, go ahead.
interpreting. It's about interpreting avant-garde music, like the contemporary music by recent composers, say the 21st century composers. Like
Right, right.
I find their pieces quite, in a way, atonal. I mean, they're difficult to understand. So how can we interpret them better?
That's a good question. Now we're talking sometimes very modern, like Carter or Babbitt, or even some of the microtonal music that's being written, where you have to tune your guitar exactly out of tune. Now, for me, I don't know. There's a certain satisfaction that many people get from that type of thinking. When you play that music, it satisfies another sort of maybe a mathematical side, uh, perhaps a mathematical curiosity that you connect with music. And music can be very mathematical. I mean, we have to count and add things up, and as far as just like musical satisfaction, what we would consider musical satisfaction. There are some people who really do enjoy it, the sound of it. I never did that much. Now, I had to play a lot of it, but there are people who, for David Starobin, for instance. Do you all know who David Starobin? He teaches. He had a great career. He settled down to really start teaching all full time. But he teaches at the Manhattan School of Music, as well as, I believe, he teaches at Curtis here in the U.S. as well. And you can look his recordings up. I mean, he's recorded, a lot of people have written pieces especially for him. He plays only early music like Fernando Sor, or very, very, very contemporary music like Carter, Babbitt. His brother is a contemporary composer. So they write in these styles that are atonal, that are serial, that are, that don't have any sort of melody or harmonic progression. And he really makes good music out of it. I really enjoy hearing David Starobin. And I'll put let me just do this here. I'll put that's him, David Starobin. You can listen, you can look him up and hear him play any of these. He really makes it exciting because he is excited about it. I think to make this music work, you have to bring it off the page. So many people I hear playing this music keep it on the page. They're just like this, just keeping it on the page, trying to be very exact. And I think trying to be too exact is a mistake. So I think one way of, you have to find that hidden energy in the music to really make it work. Does that make sense? Yeah. Siddharth, do you play a lot? Do you play contemporary music?
No, well, I was thinking of exploring it, but I don't like it so much in the sense that it's not fun because I can't understand it, perhaps.
Mm-hmm.
I think Siddharth's being modest. He just picked up a piece by Pavel Steidl last, I think, 2 weeks ago. I saw the video.
Oh,
Yeah.
that's it. That's great. Obviously, something is working for you. So, but you know, a lot of times, again, I've had to play a lot of freshly composed, very, very, very modern microtonal music, which I don't quite understand is playing out of tune. I don't quite understand that pleasure. But some people, you know, who really do it well make it work. I can't make it work because I don't feel it. But I've had to make it work a lot of times just because I've had to play it. And so you find yourself, you have to find things. We all have to do things in life we don't like to do. Whether it's music or various, maybe our jobs or things in life. But to be successful at it, you have to find things in there that are enjoyable, that make sense to you, that you can relate to other people. So in a sense, that's good that we work on this music. And you know what? I had a student recently who just got her doctorate. She does not like Bach. She does not like Bach. She had to play Bach because it's required for some things here. But the minute she didn't have to play, she would not play it. I don't know why. She just didn't like it. So now she doesn't like contemporary music either. So she has her thing that she likes and she plays that. But she's had to play a lot of Bach and she did it very well. And then she moved on.
That's
So
rare.
imagine
People not liking Bach. That's very rare. But yeah,
it is very rare. Yeah. Anyway, but that's her. So you know, we're all unique, and that's her path. So that's all good. Let me see, strengthen vibrato. Somebody asked about how to strengthen the fourth finger vibrato. Shristi Thapa asked this question.
thank you very much.
Don't know where. Oh, where are you? Oh, there you are. Hello. You asked about the fourth finger vibrato. There is a really good exercise to work on this. Vibrato on guitar is not easy. You know, violin or cello, they can keep the sound going with the bow. And you just, you know, move the finger. Here we have to force it, literally force it. So here's a very good exercise. So whether it's fourth finger, third finger, it doesn't matter. First of all, the fingers begin here. They don't begin here. So you have to keep that in mind right away. The fingers start all the way down here. And the fourth finger is very strong because you have this pretty thick muscle there. So the fourth finger is just smaller, but it's pretty strong. So you just have to make sure you're engaging this muscle here. Don't let your little finger cave in. That makes it weak. You have to focus on making a nice arch, okay? So, vibrato. I don't know if you can hear this vibrato or not, but you have to practice it, or you don't have to, but a good method is to practice it in rhythm. So first we have quarter notes. So we just go 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2. We have to push and pull. Push and pull. So I'll use 2 fingers because it's starting to hurt. 1, 2, 3, 4. Can you hear the vibrato?
Yes, yes.
Now we double it. So when that feels pretty comfortable, we go 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and there may be triplets. Da 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 da, and then 16th notes. And then from there, but we need a wide variety of speeds for vibrato because, if we're, let's see. We want one kind of vibrato for one type of music. And for another style of music, we might want to do something slower. But doing this in rhythm with any finger. So 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and I'm pushing and pulling. And it's not a slow movement like this. We don't roll. That does nothing. And a lot of players work so hard on this and it does nothing. We have to pull and push. So, as a cellist once told me, it's part the weight of the finger and also a little bit of the elbow and the tricep muscle here, pulling back. A little bit, just to get enough weight on the fingerboard. And then you have to practice it in rhythm. Make it part of your technique practice, because it is a technique.
Thank you so much.
Good. Yeah, I wanted to address that. I saw that on the list. Let's see. We're kind of approaching, it would be your lunchtime, I guess, huh? Coming up soon. But I'm looking at the list. Is there anybody... my experience playing for Segovia, it was amazing. I found him very easy to play for. I played for him twice. When I was once when I was 19, and again later in 1986. It was one of the best experiences of my life. And he taught by telling stories, not so much. He would tell you what to do piano here and forte here, but he would tell stories about these composers who he knew very well, and it was really really a wonderful experience. And we still get that with Pepe Romero too when he teaches, because he and his family, his father knew Federico Garcia Lorca. He knew all of these poets and painters and musicians. So you hear these stories, and it's really a great way to learn. So somebody asked about that. That's why I wanted to do the Segovia album. One of his Ramirez's became available here in Los Angeles, and I found it to be such a wonderful guitar. It's very big, longer scale, thick, not easy to play. But they let me borrow it to do a recording of his music, and it's one of my favorite recordings that I've done. I got a lot of satisfaction out of doing. There's like 30 short pieces on the CD. There's nothing more than 6 minutes. Everything is like 3 minutes. But he was a fantastic composer, and it was a wonderful experience. Okay. Well, I won't read those comments. Does anybody else have something to say?
Hello, sir.
Yes.
Yeah, my question is, how do you practice to enhance your playing skills? I mean, to train your fingers to play this fast and perfect. What exercise do you do for the right hand and also for the left hand?
For speed specifically, you're saying?
Specifically for speed, but the perfection you do, like with the speed, not specifically the speed, but the perfection you get with that speed.
Okay, I see. Well, basically,
Excuse me, can I add one more thing here? As you
yes.
are going to talk about practicing, this is Rizuma one minute. Yes. Sir, can you explain what is the difference between practice and playing? As you are going to answer this question, maybe it is related to that. Thank you, sir.
I didn't understand the middle part of that question.
Sir, what is the difference between practicing and playing? Like you mentioned before.
I'm sorry, it was breaking up. Your voice was
Yeah.
breaking up.
Yeah. What is the difference between practicing and playing?
The difference between practicing and playing.
Yeah.
Good. Okay. Um, I'll get to that in a minute. So practicing, first of all, I don't practice for perfection because once once you get one thing perfect, you realize how many other little things are not perfect. So I tried. I don't use the word try anymore. I don't allow my students to use the word try. Um, it's I think if we really tried our hardest, we would actually do it. So it's either do or don't. So um, what I do is practice for consistency, and then I feel that I can pretty much do a particular thing one way all the time whenever I need to. Also, ironically, there needs to be a little flexibility. If I tell myself I have to have this at 120, okay, I may get it to 120, but tomorrow night I have to play and maybe I'm not feeling great, I'm tired. I can't do 120, but I can do 100. So I have to be happy with that, and I still have to make music. The biggest mistake we can make is to stop making music. When the music stops, well, that's our purpose. So I use technique and I use the speed. When I was younger, it was really fun to practice for speed. And the way to practice for consistent speed is to start by practicing slow. With everything, as I told you before, this is how I do it. But I think of the laser pointer. Also, synchronization. There's always a finger here and a finger here playing at the same time. Exactly at the same time. It has to be 100% perfect, and that's what I practice, is that synchronization. So that's the key thing, is the synchronization for speed. So I start slow, but move fast. So if I start slow, da 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 da, but I'm moving fast here. I'm not moving slow. I'm not doing this. So since I'm moving fast already, to play faster, I make the space smaller. And this is really honestly what I do, because this doesn't change. The space gets smaller, but the movement is already fast and very focused and synchronized. That I do slow, and then when it's time for me to play it faster, I make the spaces smaller. That's really honestly it. If you were taking lessons with me, I would have you play slow and very synchronized. And then over a course of a week, 2 weeks, 3 weeks, you'll be playing fast in a consistent way. But we have to play fast with good tone, right? And then to answer the question about what's the difference between practice and playing. Practice is problem solving. That's how I define practice, is we're practicing to solve problems. Playing is expressing yourself with music. And playing is kind of timeless. When you're playing, the time disappears. When you're practicing, you're very, very focused. And what you do with your time is very important when you practice. Getting to the issues. But when you play, time disappears. It's you and the music, and that's it. That's the difference.
Sir, could you please suggest some pieces to make it happen like perfect with the speed to practice it?
Now, by speed, you're talking with scales or arpeggios or?
Arpeggios, arpeggios.
Arpeggios. Oh, okay. Well, Villa-Lobos Etude 1, first of all. You know the one I'm talking about? I don't know if I can play this at this hour, but this one. Right now my fingers I've been sitting by the keyboard too long. What else? Etude, study number 19 by Carcassi. Which I've already talked about. Tremolo, practicing your tremolo. A tremolo is only just an arpeggio on one string, but it's still an arpeggio. So practicing your tremolo is very good. But Etude 1 is probably one of the better ones. Villa-Lobos.
Yeah. Thank you. Okay.
Mm-hmm.